morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you beautiful listeners of the Good Anime Palette podcast. We are entering the new season. Welcome, everyone, to Season 4 of the Good Anime Palette podcast. If you are a regular listener here, welcome back. We've got a lot of new content for you. And if you are a brand new listener, hey, we're just a bunch of guys just talking about weeb shit. So, without further ado, it's still Will, and it's still Jason. How's it going, my buddy to the right?
This episode is episode number 37. I'm really excited. It's just great. Summer's right around the corner in terms of anime seasonals.
It's not even right on the corner. It's literally started, actually.
Yeah, actually, we didn't know until this morning.
Because for the most part, like most of the things that we were fully aware of had announced their release dates for the first week of July, literally like July 2nd, I think. But then all of a sudden, Ruby just decides, you know what? We're actually going to drop yesterday. So, we're officially in the summer season now.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that, but we will leave that for our summer seasonal premiere episode. So,
coming up very soon, actually. So we're going to just jump straight into today, where we're going to go, maybe not so much over like the new read and watch stuff. I did watch some stuff, but I haven't really fully finished it yet, so I can't really make much of a judgment on it. But we did spend some time catching up on seasonals and actually collecting our thoughts on how they've performed over the course of the spring season. And on top of that, we did also watch an original net animation exclusively on Netflix called Spriggan. So you want to just sort of, give a quick rundown on the general details of it?
So Spriggan originally is a manga based off of, from the same name, drawn by, here we go again, Ryuji Minagawa and Hiroshi Takashige.
Nice.
Who did the story. It is released as a 6-episode ONA on June 18th. And each episode is double episode length, so 50 minutes.
So it comes up to essentially one cur's worth of anime,
right,
just spread over 6 episodes as opposed to 12.
That's correct. Yeah.
Now, Spriggan is not a brand new IP. It's actually existed for quite a while. Before the original animation that dropped on Netflix, there were actually other adaptations that come out for it. I think a decade or so ago.
1995 or something like that, yeah.
And the scores for it weren't very promising. I think they were in the high 6s, mid 6s. But, whenever it's one of those kind of let's revamp and revitalize an old series and hopefully bring it back to its, where it really should be, sometimes you drive a little bit of hype. I mean, you also had David Production behind it. And
I forgot to say that. My bad.
They announced it 3 years ago when Netflix decided to announce that they were doing a bunch of different anime collaborations with various studios.
Yeah, so I actually remember that exact moment because I was watching their stream on YouTube because it was during COVID time, so they're like, we're just going to do an online stream as opposed to this, event in person. And I remember hearing Spriggan, and I was just like, this trailer, what the fuck is this? Who? What? And I was like, okay, all right, David Productions, sure. And, now it's here.
So
7.12.
During that 7.12
for the source.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the actual anime itself isn't too good, but just to sort of travel back in time, during that announcement about the Netflix and anime studio collaboration, there were actually other properties that were announced in that update. So, in no particular order, they had also announced Altered Carbon. I really didn't have much interest in it, so I didn't check it out. If anybody did watch it, let us know if it's any good. But I know it's not necessarily something that, at least within the anime zeitgeist, people care too much about it. On to the next one, Super Crooks. Now, that one was... who did that one again? Bones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't watch any of it, and I know I should have, because Jason has some pretty feelings about it. More on the don't even bother as opposed to it could be okay.
Yeah, don't bother.
So next was the big boy, or the big bust, which was SAC 2045.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry I have to repeat those words.
Yeah.
It hurts, right?
PTSD is hitting me hard right now.
Nails on the chalkboard kind of pain, right? It's look, as an anime, it looks pretty cool, but as a standalone complex Ghost in a Shell addition to the whole catalog, it really shouldn't have its place there. No idea why. And we still don't know why they decided to make it 3D. So leave it as is. The next thing they released was Vampire in the Garden, which I also didn't watch, but Jace, you did you finish it? Or
No,
did
no, no.
you-
So I watched 3 of 5 episodes. I do intend on finishing it, and I'll probably talk more about it next episode. So, but right now, all I'll say is that it is decent.
It's decent, but like so far, not that great of a track record from that announcement, right? Like
No.
3 busts, or at least like 3 like mehs, and then 1. Okay, it could be okay. All
So I
right.
did some like Googling. In 1998, September 5th, Studio 4 Degrees did Spriggan, the movie, with a 6.67 on my anime list.
And the source being a 7.12.
Yes.
So yeah, fast forward to
Oh,
2022.
sorry, 7.13 now.
Oh wait, oh, hey! Whoever's listening right now, I'm pretty sure you trying to manipulate the scores, huh? I see what you guys doing. So back onto the current episode of current rendition of Spriggan. We watched an accumulated 41 minutes of Spriggan. I watched 19 minutes of the first episode, and Jason watched 22 minutes of the first episode. And that should just go to show I don't think this is worth your time. It's very unfortunate. It starts off as you would expect a David production series to start off, but unfortunately, it just seems messy. It doesn't really know what it wants to do. Like when you were watching it play by play, you're like, what is going on? Why is this music playing here? This music, okay, so it goes to like bebop s jazz, it goes to like heavy metal, it goes to like EDM, and then goes to like JoJo s kind of like hype music. And after a while, it doesn't really correlate well with what's happening on screen. And and for me, it was like the characters were like just cardboard, like nothing interesting. That's it. Just cut out.
You
and then,
especially
yeah.
did not like Spriggan's voice.
I had no. I thought it was not good at all. I just thought the voice acting was terrible to mediocre.
Well, Spriggan was has that like what do you call it? Shonen like main
Yeah.
character vibe, right?
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I don't think we need to say much more else unless you have other thoughts about it.
I'll just say this. The beginning first major action scene set piece takes place on an oil rig with rain, and there's like this elaborate fight scene in this hallway. I thought it was choreographed pretty well.
It's set up pretty well in terms of like if you were to flesh out that concept, then it could actually be a very interesting show.
The sound design is actually really good,
That I would
especially
give
with
that
the
them that.
rain.
I would give them that as well.
And the villain that is there in the oil rig had a very interesting power. So we were thinking, okay, maybe this is kind of like JoJo-esque in a way. Yeah, okay, let's just end
That's
at
it,
that.
right?
That's it.
Okay.
None of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So smash or pass with Spriggan.
How about I smash it to pieces, then pass it to you, then you smash it to pieces, and then pass it into the trash?
Yeah.
It sucks because, look, I don't want to hate on Netflix because these are the same people that either heavily produced or licensed things like Violet Evergarden, things like Devilman Crybaby. So, yeah, obviously those were like one of the first things that Netflix has commissioned, but I think Netflix has a lot of reach that automatically they can have Clamp do Brothers Grimm.
Yeah. The problem with it though is that there seems to be like a lack of consistency. In fact, they're on like a very downward trajectory. Back in the days when you would have Violet Evergarden, that was just like holy fuck, like Netflix is on to some good shit. Then we got Super Crooks, and then we got Yasuke, and then now we have Spriggan. Like,
I mean,
is
Way of the House Husband was okay.
that yeah? Oh, and the Kotaro.
Yeah,
that was
Kentarou
also pretty good too.
was pretty good, but it just doesn't have that
It
same...
doesn't have that heavy hitter.
Exactly.
right?
Like when you say Netflix exclusive now, I just think, oh, so it's like a Crunchyroll exclusive now.
Dude, I mean, like for example, like Summertime Rendering is on Disney Plus, and Summertime Rendering is really damn good, which we'll get into right now. But Netflix at the moment, I think it's kind of still finding its identity, not just within like the anime world, but also in general, because now everybody just knows it as the place to watch K-dramas and trashy TV, right? Like you have like Love Island, you have Terrace House, you have Selling Sunset and Bling Empire, but it's all like, is that really worth people like subscribing to Netflix for?
And I do think they make some interesting stuff back in the day, like with also No Game No Life Zero, so on and so forth. And
They have
now
a bunch of really good documentaries
and
too.
they did Komi, and nowadays I think they are much better at licensing, as in like
Simulcasting stuff, right?
exactly rather than actually, these are our exclusive original works. So then they still tag on the Netflix exclusive because that term doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
But they have those catalogs because Komi is not going to show up like on other platforms, at least for a time being, for sure.
Yeah. What I know is that they always try to find that heavy hitter for every genre, every form of medium they have, right? Like with K-dramas and like just Korean shows, they had Squid Game. In terms of like trash TV, they have Bling Empire and Selling Sunset. In terms of like the Western media, they have now it just finished Ozark and also running Stranger Things.
Yeah, my dad watched it for like a couple episodes. It was like, nah.
Anime though, it hasn't had that heavy hitter in a long time.
Okay, what else is coming away? They have the Unexpected or whatever it's called.
Exception, right?
Exception, right? Sorry, that was Unexpected.
That was it. Exception.
Exception. We have,
which could easily be really good or wow.
We have Brothers Grimm. So it is not doom and gloom, but it is definitely we're both way less enthusiastic about the quote unquote Netflix anime brand in general.
Yeah.
But they did Stone Ocean in terms of licensing, at least, right? So,
yeah, they're just taking a very long time in terms of releasing the next part. Just read the manga, guys.
If the Spriggan ONA on Netflix with current mouse score of 6.85 will not convince you to drop it or not even consider watching the show, Will and I don't think you should watch the show. All right.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on from the Spriggan debacle and now go into the other stuff we've been watching, which is essentially catching up and giving our more comprehensive opinion of how the spring 2022 seasonals have been performing.
So we'll try to minimize spoilers. In fact, almost no spoilers.
Yeah,
but
it'll be easy not to say spoilers, but we will like hype the shit out of some of them and also be a little bit disappointed about some of them.
So one thing that I think Will and I knew, which is that a lot of people tend to not give their scores or opinions on my anime list until they finished all of the shows or until they drop it. Like, that's a common practice that even I do, except I don't rate things that I drop.
Yeah, imagine like you just watch the first episode of something and immediately like, this is a 2. I'm not watching it anymore. It's like, if you don't like it, then just drop it. Like, it's kind of hard to formulate an opinion after one episode, like, definitively. If you just don't like something, then just drop it. And at the same time, it's also, you see something really, really good. It's like, yeah, I watched the first episode of Spy X Family. That's really fucking good. I'm going to give it a 10 immediately. It's like, hold on, right? Like, now you're kind of jumping the gun. Because, yeah, it's good, but is it really that good based on 24 minutes? It's kind of hard to make that opinion, make that judgment.
And that is why, in a very meta, GAP podcast way, we do our seasonal bets ending when we do our seasonal premieres for the next season, because that gives several weeks for people to finish those shows, also for us to have a better opinion of the upcoming shows. So, as per usual, the amount of scores that are now given to certain shows that have officially ended has dramatically either increased or decreased or stayed the same. Obviously, those are the only 3. But for example, I've been a big proponent of Healer Girl, and I think it debuted at like a 6.7 something.
It wasn't amazing. It wasn't great, right? A 6 was on the cusp of it really isn't worth your time unless you really want to enjoy it. But like, there are going to be people that will be like, you know what? No, I'm going to stick with it. And you were one of them.
Yeah. And I also have in front of me the scores currently on Mal when we did our spring seasonal premiere. So, for example, Healer Girl have a 6.87 and now has a 7.4.
Do you think that score jump is warranted though? Because you've been pretty current with it.
I think all my qualms about Healer Girl has decreased, and the amount of singing has only increased to the point where the finale episode, almost half the episode is dedicated to just music, singing. They also lean more heavily into, I don't know what you call it, like the lore in terms of how healing is in the medical space, how you would do things, how even different countries view healers. So it sucks that only gets introduced in like the last 2 episodes, but it is definitely way better than I thought. So I gave it an 8.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like you said, like, it really is worth just finishing something off and waiting for like everything to be consumed before you make an informed decision. Because if you had just like stopped halfway, you would think Healer Girl is incredibly mediocre. But then when you finish it, it'd be easier for you to decide, actually, you know what? It's better than mediocre. Or no, it's actually the same. It's still pretty mediocre to me.
Yeah, I think so. So, Will, you also watched a bunch. So we're just going to go through, in no particular order, a bunch of seasonals that we've either finished or are like penultimate episode. So
Yeah.
it's not going to change that much.
There is one that's it's not on the docket, but I think there's a reason for it, so I'm not going to talk about it just yet. We'll go into Spy X Family, right? Like
Yep.
Spy X, no surprise, it's really damn good, but recently the score has been dropping a little bit, and I think it's just because more and more people are starting to watch it now. People are giving more of their opinions, and it's getting close to the finale, so it's. I would expect the score to jump more after tonight. Or
I
at
think
least
it will
after
change.
releases,
Yeah, I do think it will change.
because at the moment it's a flat 9.
Yes.
But there was a period where it was scaling the charts. Like, it
Like
was like in top 5 territory.
Like 9.2 or something. So, yeah, it goes both ways in terms of the score changes over time.
yeah. But I mean, like, as of recording, the last episode of part 1 has not released yet. So it's really damn good. It's really good.
I'll quickly talk about Komi Can't Communicate Season 2. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I finished all of it. It is exactly what you would expect out of Season 1. The overall production quality is really good. The fluffy wholesomeness is the same. And that is, I think, a very, very good thing. In terms of an adaptation of Komi Can't Communicate, which people have been clamoring for ages, this is almost as good as it's going to get. Hopefully there'll be a season two or 3. It depends on how you interpret the double cur.
Yeah. So season 1 ended with, well, at least as of now, is an 8.03, and then with season 2, it's all done now, right? All 12 episodes are out.
I think they're like one episode away, or they're at least they're done in Japan or something. I forgot the staggering release schedule.
But it's safe to say that, like, in the coming weeks, we could expect a fluctuation in terms of the Komi score, right? As of now, season 2 is sitting at an 8.22.
Yes.
And fair result, fair assessment of.
Yeah, I gave it a 9. So, or I will give it a 9. There's almost no way it will be anything more or anything less.
Cool. Okay. Have you been watching your summertime render?
So with Summertime Render, I think that one is a bit of a anomaly, mainly because I think it would be a very good show, and judging from what you have watched, Will, which is way further ahead than I, it is amazing. The only thing is that I wanted to have a huge backlog so I can binge it.
That's exactly what I was gonna say next,
Yeah,
right? So you and I both watched up to episode 2.
I think so,
I think we had just gone to episode 2, and that was when we started formulating. It's like, oh, this could be good, but if it doesn't stick the landing, then it could be incredibly disappointing. But at the same time, like, with those kinds of like mystery, thriller, supernatural shows, it's really, really tough watching them episodically. You want to wait until there's enough for you to just blast in one go.
Like back in the day when Lost was airing, and back when Lost was really good, our argument, whatever you think, people had to wait every week for the release, and it was just torture. So at this point, it was better to just put it on hold indefinitely until a bunch of episodes of Summertime Render has been released, so then I can binge it all in one go, and it just seems like all the quality has been maintained, so it's good.
Yeah. It's like why I'm glad that I ended up waiting this long to watch Haikyuu, because damn, if I had to watch season 3 week to week, I would be fucking mad. So I'm glad I managed to binge all of that in a space of like 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah, like, I don't think I could do that with Monogatari week by week, right? Or like weird release schedule. So I'm just waiting on Summertime Render and then binging it all in one go.
Yeah. As of now, I'm at the current episode. It's good. It's really good. I think it is veering towards the direction where it actually can stick the landing. Yes, there are some weird, quirky things in there that they kind of just skip and not really explain, but I'm fine with that because the focus is still very much on the supernatural mystery of the show. So, hey, look, Summertime Rendering, if you're not on it yet, it's on Disney+. Go check that shit out.
Will, talk to me about dancing.
Okay. I mentioned this in our previous episode, the JP finale of season 3, where my biggest surprise of the previous season was I would end up liking and watching Dance Dance Dancer, done by Mappa. It's it's refreshing.
Make
It's very different from everything that we've watched this season, simply because it tackles some very serious and deep topics, but in a very beautiful and colorful palette. I very much enjoyed watching it because the music is great, the choreography of the dancing is wonderful. Like, look, I never gave a shit about ballet, right? But a lot of the things they talked about within Dance Dance Dancer are very real, like real world struggles, and like kind of hit close to home because my sister, when she was growing up, she was a ballet dancer, and all the things that they talked about in Dance Dance Dancer, I actually was like, you know what? No, my sister's gone through the same stuff, the same trials and tribulations, the same struggles of trying to be a ballet dancer. But you watch the journey of DDD, it's phenomenal. I'm very happy that I watched it. I would recommend anybody watch it.
So good for ballet, not so good for water polo. Am I correct?
Yeah. So that's the other thing, right?
Remain is the other one.
Mappa is on this really weird train of, hey, you know what? Like, if you want to watch the main shit, like your Jujutsu Kaisens and your Chainsaw Mans, it's gonna be fucking fantastic. But we're also gonna be using some stuff on the side, like water polo sports, like ballet sports shit. It's like, yeah. If anybody was burned by Remain, don't worry. Dance Dance Dancer will definitely get you back. Mappa is still doing some good shit. I hope they get enough sleep, but definitely watch Dance Dance Dancer.
You gave it a 9?
I gave it a 9.
Right.
And it's very close to being an 8 right now. I think it's a 7.95, which is still like really, really damn good.
So I think you should watch Welcome to the Ballroom.
That's the other one, right?
And I should watch Dance Dance Dancer, because now it went from being like a show that I'm like, yeah, okay, to all of a sudden being like, actually, maybe it should be on the top of the watching priority list in my mind. So I am very happy and excited that there is a good sports anime that is not the normal, like a ball sport anime. Like,
I'll tell you as well, like, as the episodes go, the animation quality is, and art is, it is fucking phenomenal. Like, you would say it was like a good showcase of the best of Mappa.
Yeah, I mean, even with the first episode that I saw, it was pretty impressive.
Oh, it gets good, son. It gets good.
That's good.
Right. So, does Aharen get good, though?
Okay. All right. I finished Aharen Is Indecipherable. It is okay. It really sucks because it has that Komi can't communicate syndrome of, hey, the concept or the premise sounds exactly the same, except it is slightly different. And I think Aharen ends up being a good show, but just a good show. I gave it an 8 out of 10, but really I would give it a 7.5.
Like, you're trying to be a bit more objective with it, right?
Yeah, like, I wouldn't say it is impressive. Aharen is impressive. I wouldn't say it's a waste of time either.
But
I would say it's a good use of my time, but it's not an exceptional show.
It's
not like,
cute and comfy, right?
Yeah, but it's not like the upper echelons of cute and comfy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man, the day we have to do a cute and comfy tier list of all the anime we've watched, that would how many hours would that be? That'd be like 6-7 hours for you.
Fret not, I actually have a tier list
Already done.
Well, not already done, but
because
yes.
it's never done because there's so much fucking anime.
Yeah,
right?
every time they will just add. But I think Aharen is worth watching, but you probably want to watch other fluffy stuff first. But this ain't the last one that you should watch.
Yep. I got a similar sentiment for the next thing we're going to talk about, which is Ashi, the soccer anime for spring 2022. The main one. I think there might be another one. Oh no, shoot! That the remake. That one is coming in this incoming season.
Yeah, you're not thinking about Love All Play.
No, I'm not. No, we're not talking about that one. So Awashi is very much focused on the more sort of real world aspects of sports, specifically the world of soccer. So it's very different from the more recent kind of sports series we've been seeing, where it's like blending of superpowers and just trying to be the very, very, very best by beating your opponent and all that. No, it's a bit more sort of gritty in that it definitely tells you more about why it's so fucking hard to be a professional soccer player, going through the rigors of youth training, and it's definitely a biased opinion on my end because I grew up loving soccer. I mean, I've been watching soccer for well over 20 years. I've been watching soccer longer than I've been watching anime. So when I was able to see something that was more on like the real aspects of sports, it was refreshing. Because it's like, as much as you have people who like reading and hopefully soon to be watching Blue Log, or people like watching Kuroko no Basket, it's also like, it's a bit more on the shonen action side as opposed to the sports side. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, like, I've told Jason, and Jason would agree too. iShield 21 is fantastic, but when it comes to like the ground fundamentals of American football, it's not really that much of the focus. It's more just taking like the concept of football, but adding like superpowers into it to make it interesting.
Yeah, I think you made a comparison of Slam Dunk versus Kuroko no Basket for Ashi versus Blue Lock, and I don't think that comparison is too far-fetched.
But you can like both.
You can
easily like both.
You can easily like both, but I think it is very appropriate because in Kuroko no Basket is basketball, just like Slam Dunk is about basketball, but one is basically as realistic as it can get, and the other one is, what if Dragon Ball and basketball had an anime baby, or anime manga as well?
Yeah.
So I think Blue Lock is really good, but I don't think it is technically on a technical level in terms of jargon and minutiae is that good.
Yeah, it's not as like fundamental when it comes to like comparing it with Aoashi.
I mean, how can you do was it Striker Hunger Games essentially?
Yeah.
And have it be something that is super technical, well thought out, really ingrained into how soccer works.
Now, that's not to say that Aoashi isn't for everyone. I think like if you have an affinity to soccer, you will enjoy it a lot more because you'll get some of the cultural references. But if you're not like that into soccer, and you don't really care too much about the players or like the tactics, at least you can understand like the more slice of life elements of it, where like people kind of struggle with mental stresses and physical incapabilities of being able to meet the rigors of like you training to become a professional soccer player. So at the moment I'm halfway through because it's a double cur. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm really, really stoked to keep watching it, and hopefully come the end of this year I should be finished by then.
Sorry,
hopefully.
I was staring at the sky because I'm trying to think of when was the last soccer anime that really made any impact.
Captain Tsubasa.
Yeah, but that far back, huh? That's what I was thinking, right? There really isn't any.
I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
But it's like that's why they're remaking it, because they want to try and reform that glory.
Yeah.
But
and all of a sudden, within the same year, we have Aoashi and Blue Lock, so it's like soccer had its fill.
Yeah, I think, but in the end, though, like fundamentally, when it comes to like sports, doesn't get bigger in Japan than volleyball and tennis. I think that's just it. Like, it's because like they're both really fucking good at those sports. So, and like if we talk about tennis, Prince of Tennis, talk about volleyball, Haikyuu, like those are probably the most popular sports anime. And then Slam Dunk coming in, it's just universally acclaimed.
Will, one of your other surprises is your Boy Kongming, which I have only watched up till episode 8 or 9.
It's good.
It's really good.
It's really, really good. I mean, I told you like a month ago when I was walking around with the malls here in Hong Kong that I was buying a new phone, and in the corner where they had all the hi-fi and the sound systems playing, one person decided, you know what, to really showcase these really brand spanking new Sony speakers, we're going to play the opening of Kongming on repeat for 2 hours, and it was glorious.
Did you give it a 9?
I give it a 9. Like, objectively, I think it is a 9 because it's refreshing. It's a reverse isekai that brings in old school Chinese mythology into, not even mythology, it's like real world shit, but moving it into contemporary like Japanese music landscape. And it's like you would never imagine those two to mesh well. Like you put this on a plate and you send it to someone and say, we're gonna make this fucking anime. PA Works did fucking amazing with this.
Yeah, I think it is very much an 8+ and probably a 9 in my opinion as well. And I do think the premise is a breath of fresh air.
It's very aloof, for sure.
Yes, and they do deliver on the music and the tactician aspect. I was surprised that they really leaned into that to the point where it ties in also with the Three Kingdoms stories. And I was just like, this is just like a lot of like threads, and it's just crazy. It's just good. It's really good. So yeah,
it's a really fun time. It's one of those things where it's not like, oh, just turn off your brain and watch it. No, it's actually more just you can have it playing in the background You can have it play like, in the foreground. You could just like be as focused as you want. You can just chill with it and not really focus much. You will enjoy it in one capacity or another.
So we'll talk about Kaguya-sama in news. So we will then end on the last two things, which is, for me, the Demon Girl Next Door Season 2.
You've been very giddy about this all season.
It is so good. They made I told Will this. They made a citrus joke, and then they had a word pun inside of it. It's just like, what? It's really well written. I'm surprised. And the last episode, I think, is next week, and it's a really good show. I'll probably give it a 9.
I mean, niche puns and references.
Also, it's hella gay.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
actually, these two girls are clearly into each other, and it's awesome.
It's not bait, right?
No,
it's
not.
It's just straight up, this is as Yuri as can get.
Well, without going into it, yeah, it's pretty close.
They're more than just friends.
Oh, yeah, way more. This ain't no bait, son.
How is it so far? Because is it finished or is it like
no?
Still ongoing?
The next. Oh, you mean the manga? It's still ongoing.
Okay,
so
hopefully season 3.
Yeah, or I'll read the manga because it's just good all around.
I guess it gets to the point where it's like, look, if there is no more anime for a specific series, like don't fret. Like this hopefully is like a good indication that if you enjoyed watching the anime, you're probably gonna enjoy reading the manga. So go read the manga, right?
But it's not every day you get Chika from Kaguya-sama voicing the main character, the demon girl.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because she plays the same character, and it's just really good. It's just really good. Probably give it a 9. Yeah, I know.
So we're gonna go on the inverse and talk about something that's really not good, right? Like we have enough time to really lay into this.
Well, when we did our spring seasonal premiere, actually even before that, when we had to settle for our seasonal bet, right? We said that to each other, Rising of the Shield Heroes Season 2
was like almost a guaranteed 8, right?
Yeah, because the first season was either
it was 8.03. It was
something like that.
But it was enough for us to think like, you know what? Like there was enough good hype that came from the first season that it should carry over into the second season.
Yeah, and it's going to be massively popular. It got to the point where the studio's like, yeah, we're just going to greenlit 2 seasons back to back. I don't care. And I guess
they might regret that decision
because now Shield Hero sits at a 6.67.
Fucking abysmal.
Kunoichi Tsubaki is higher.
RPG Fudo-san is higher.
So many shows is higher.
Healer Girl overtook it like slowly and surely, and now it's not even overtaking. It is now like it's stamped its foot on its throat and say, "Yeah, no, you're a peasant in the anime rankings." It is so sad to see. And honestly, we were just thinking maybe we were just haters. Maybe people just really liked the revenge arc in Shield Hero, and that's why it's like they're just hating on season 2. But then we watched it,
and I agree.
It's like no, it's not like bring back all the revenge bait shit. Like bring back all the fucking like slave lolly shit. Like no, this is more just the fact that they skipped a fuck ton of shit that. What was left to watch?
I mean, just think about it. Build Divide Code White, the second season of Build Divide, which we have not mentioned up till now, has the exact same score as one of the most popular animes airing right now.
It's actually scary to think how that's going to affect season 3. Because if the licensors have already gone and said, you know what, like go ahead,
they can cancel it, right?
It'll be hard. It would look bad from the council.
Yeah,
I think they have to follow through.
This is like. If they do cancel it, that's like press conference, I'm going to bow in front of a bunch of cameras bad, to be honest.
I think in the end, though, right? Like, just because it's not highly rated on Mal, it shouldn't really give studios that much of an indication of whether or not they should cancel it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's only when it gets to, like, Japan.
The ratings, the money.
The ratings in the end, like actual Japanese TV ratings, like how much money it actually brings in, that's when they can be like, you know what? Like, it's actually not translating into light novel sales. We're going to just can it.
I will just say that Season 3 should be better than Season 2 based off of the storyline content. But the problem is not only that the storyline of Season 2 is not that great. It is that the stuff that people like about Season 1, namely the revenge, namely Raftalia, are all just not there anymore. And then you have a bunch of exposition. You have the turtle arc, which is not really spoiling anything or implying anything. And it is just okay. Like, just okay.
Right. Well, suffice to say, the spring season has been good. There actually has been a lot of really good stuff. Some stuff there it's like, it's okay, it's mediocre. And then, of course, there's some mediocre to, wow, this is just actually terrible, don't watch it. But generally, pretty good. I would say that's I'm looking forward to summer. Kinda. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried, but we'll talk about that in our next episode.
Well, not next episode, next episode.
You're right. Yes. In a month's time.
So, yeah.
So we're gonna go into our news updates now. We do have a couple of them. Not a couple. We actually have more than a couple. But we're gonna try and blast through a few of these. Some of them are like, whoa, holy shit, where did this fucking come from? And then some are like, well, it's to be expected. We as one of the seasonals for spring, we didn't mention Kaguya-sama Ultra Romantic, because there's a news update for that. They had just dropped their season finale for season 3.
1 hour, by the way.
And now there is a new anime adaptation, or like a new project.
Yeah, they called it a new anime project. They didn't really suggest, is it season 4? Is it a string of movies? Other than, there's more anime coming. That's all.
Yeah. So
I have yet to finish it, so
it's really, really good.
Okay.
But it's to be expected. Like, it's Kaguya. Like, why would it not be good? Every season has been doing really fucking well. It's a 9.10 right now. This morning it was a 9.09. So people are catching on to this season finale and like really, really hyping it up. So I think people are just gonna be super excited for this new project they're working on. The next thing is I don't know shit about it because I haven't watched or read or anything about it. But
you've definitely heard of it, right?
But you're all about the Sound Euphonium, right?
So there has been a new announcement about Sound Euphonium. This is the anime based off of the light novel that Kyoto Animation has produced. There's, I think, 2 seasons and a bunch of movies, including the spin-off of Liz and the Bluebird, which I like a lot. And they announced a new season and movie for the 3rd year that will air in 2024, and the Ensemble contest arc that will air in 2023. So it's good for several reasons. It's good that there is new Sound Euphonium. It's good that Kyoto Animation is back on their feet in some capacity and start producing a bunch of works. I mean, they did that with Kobayashi, right? So it's not necessarily like, oh, they were in the dark for so long, but it is good to see that they are back on their feet. And just more Yuri bait, I guess, and more music. It's good.
Yeah. We're going to keep the good news rolling with probably one of the best bit of news that's come out in recent weeks. A while back, we had to report the tragic passing of Kentarou Miura, who was the creator of Berserk.
Rest in peace.
There was a period of time where, beyond that, everyone was just like, you know what? Let's just, put it aside. We leave Berserk as is. This was his legacy. Let him do what he wanted, and we just put it to rest. Recently, though, it's come out that under the assistance of Kentarou Miura, Kouji Mori, they're actually going to continue the Berserk manga. The editing department of Hakusenshi's Young Animal basically said that they were going to finish off and actually release something on the 13th issue of Young Animal, which I think, as of recording, it would have come out a couple days ago.
Yes, yesterday.
So who knows how far this is going to go, whether they're actually going to finish the Berserk story or they're just going to continue it and see where it goes. But considering that Mori was a very good friend of Miura's, I think
he was the assistant.
What he wanted to do was, like, let's just continue what Miura wanted to write as a story. And he did the best he can to promise that he wouldn't deviate from what Miura wanted to detail in his story. So we're all really happy. We're happy that there is something good that came out of this, and we're excited to see what direction the Berserk manga is going to go into. No matter what, we will always continue to support it.
So there has been rumors of sort of, I guess, traces of illustrations or what do you call it, like plot points that Miura has, and he is going to use that as sort of the blueprint for the Berserk manga going forward. So originally they were like, in respect, we are not going to continue the Berserk manga, And now they are backpedaling on that, which I think is, at the end of the day, a great thing because Berserk still lives on, and I just think that that's awesome. Please make a good anime adaptation that is not made in the past 10 years.
I'd rather not them have any anime at all. Just continue it in manga form. We're going to round off the news section with a couple more adaptation announcements, along with a few. Actually, no, they're all adaptation announcements. The next one, which is we've been talking about this manga for a little while because it's done by a very, very well acclaimed mangaka, Akasaka, who is known for her series Kaguya-sama. We are now getting an adaptation of Oshi no Ko.
That's correct.
It's been a long running, well, not really long running, but it's been running for like very recently for the last 2 years. We've been talking about it. We know it should be good. We just never pulled the trigger to start reading it, and I guess now we should because the anime just got announced.
It's going to be produced by Doga Kobo, which is well known for Shikimori Isn't Just a Cutie.
Well known for that one, right?
Yeah, and also for My Senpai's Annoying.
You simp. You Shikimori
God
simp.
damn it. Whatever. So, yeah, the other thing is that, let me see here. Oshi no Ko is now available on Jump Plus in English.
Yeah.
Fully translated. And I think as of right now, there are like 40 chapters available, so you can just read it for free.
Sticking on Jump Plus, Chainsaw Man's back. Not the anime yet. That one is to be decided on when it's going to release. But as announced, Part 2 of Chainsaw Man, the manga, is going to air in a couple weeks.
Well, no,
very, very soon.
The manga is not going to air. The manga is going to be published.
Published, aired, whatever.
Okay.
It'll be simulpubbed.
Yeah, we don't want to create confusion here, okay? We're not in Tartarcite 1, okay?
I'm just fucking excited, man. Like, Chainsaw Man, I fucking love that shit.
Is it
whatever form it comes out in.
It's just called School Arc, right?
Yeah, it's the high school. It's not even high school. I think
It's just called School Arc, yeah. Whatever that is. So
yeah, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you guys haven't done it yet, download Jump Plus or Manga Plus and start reading some manga. There's some. I mean, I should say that to myself as well, but like, there's some good manga coming up. We may even do a couple of episodes on just talking about the manga landscape and what you should be checking out.
Now, our last news story is probably the most left field curveball news story that we have gotten in the past couple of weeks.
I think both Jason and I saw it at the same time, and we were like, "You see what I'm seeing? Like, does this make sense to you? What's going on here?"
Even with the Berserk continuation, right? I'm not surprised at hearing that news, even though I wasn't expecting it. But this one, okay, so.
CG Studio Orange is animating the new Trigun Stampede anime in 2023.
Wait, you mean Land of the Illustrious?
Yeah.
You mean Beastars?
No.
What?
No.
Wait,
the
what?
extremely old and extremely 2D anime that was Trigun is getting the CG 3D treatment from Studio Orange. It's yeah. Who the fuck saw that coming?
Trigun is an anime series that premiered in 1998 for 26 episodes by Madhouse. So that just tells you like how far back we're going here. I remember watching all of it. I actually do own the DVD for it, of all things. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Trigun's okay.
Trigun is just okay. But I was hoping that Studio Orange would be doing any of the works that I mentioned other than Trigun.
Well, here you go. You got Trigun. It's going to be simulcasted on Crunchyroll in 2023. So, yeah, you only got like another 6 to 8 months before that shit happens.
Look, maybe it's going to be good. Maybe. But I want Land of the Illustrious or Beastars. That's it. But hey,
are you caught up with Beastars, by the way?
No, but at least if there was more incoming, that would motivate me to start finishing it.
Are you ready to be hurt by Land of the Illustrious?
I'm already hurt by Land of the Illustrious.
How broken are you right now?
I mean, can a broken person speak?
What's your density rating? Are you a 3 or a 2? Are you a 1?
I'm like a 0.1 here.
Oh wow, you softy. Okay,
I'm a 0.
You're a soft crystal. Okay.
All this fluffiness has made me malleable and fragile to the point where yeah, I want it and I don't want new Land of the Illustrious.
Well, okay. Well, we've made good time in terms of going over the seasonal sort of comprehensive review. We do a more comprehensive one later on, and also going over the news. We are now going into what we always do with every season, which is get ready for an upcoming episodic format of the anime closet cleanup. We are going to be cleaning up a bunch of our backlogs, whether it's my backlog or Jason's backlog. We can explain the rules of this later on. But Jason, maybe you want to sort of explain what we're actually doing right now?
Okay, so for the closet cleanup, Will and I have a bunch of anime series that we picked out for each other and ourselves, and then we're going to draw from them. We're going to have a total of 10 to draw from for each person, 5 of which is from one person's plan to watch list, and then the other 5 is from the other person's plan to watch list.
So just as a recap, we had already settled these a while ago, but within my list, I'm going to be picking out Descending Stories, Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, Dimension W, Jormungand, one I'm actually very excited to check out because it's been so long that I've known about this, Iron-Blooded Orphans of the Mobile Suit Gundam series, and finally Promare, which has been, like, I have no idea how long I've known about this and haven't watched it. From Jason's plan to watch list that I need to pick up, it is Patema Inverted, You and Me, Endro with a tilde, Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater, which I actually do really want to check out, and F, A Tale of Memories. For Jason, he's picking out from my list After the Raid, Gankutsuo, which is a carryover from Season 1, also known as Count of Monte Cristo, The Eccentric Family, The Kawaii Complex Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior, and Servant X Service. From his own list, he will then be picking out Sekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, Inuyashiki, Last Hero, Kami-sama Kiss, Blue Spring Ride, and 5 centimeters per second, a carryover from one of the previous seasons.
So you might be wondering, why are these animes are being drawn? There seems to be no connection between all of them. There is. It's just that it's on our plan to watch list. We wanted to have an excuse to clear out our backlog. We also wanted an excuse to convince the other person to watch certain shows. So that's why we have this episodic format where we will do a cleanup every single podcast season. Listen,
we're lazy, right? Sometimes we can't just like spend every single waking hour just watching all the anime. So that's, we have these episodes kind of in place so that we have an excuse to rewatch shit.
So now I actually have post-it notes of every single entry, and I even have the hat. So
the hat is back. Okay. Wow, it's actually been a while since we last did it. Okay. How do you want to do it first? Do you want to do me first or do you want to do you first?
You first. So,
that came out wrong. I don't want to do you first.
No, let's do each other first. You know what I mean?
Get ready for the next version of the Good Hentai Palette podcast.
Okay, Will, do you want to choose it from your plan to watch list or from my plan to watch list first?
Let's do from mine. So it should have Descending Stories, Dimension W, Jormungand, that stack.
All right, try to draw one.
So
the first one is...
It finally happened. I got Promare.
Okay, there you go. And then the second one is...
Wow, this is actually amazing. I got Iron-Blooded Orphans.
All right, there you go. So then...
Are there mechas in Promare?
Yes.
So I'm watching a fuck ton of mechas. Yes! This is it. Mecha season for me.
All right, Will. And then this is from my plan to watch list for your cleanup. So, let me put it... Wait, there you go.
Okay, drum roll, or don't do drum roll because that's going to knock over the microphones. I got You and Me.
All right.
And then the last one is Endro. Interesting. I actually don't know anything about Endro.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Will. You don't know what Endro is, my man?
This is going to be one of those, because I know what You and Me is. I know the other two as well. I don't know anything about Endro, so I'm just going to do the thing of I'm not going to read anything on Mal. I'm not going to Google anything. I'm just going to go in completely blind and just give you my as objective possible thoughts.
Okay, let's see. Clear this out.
Right. Now on to Jason. So
No, hold on.
you just sorted it out.
So,
yeah.
These are from mine, and then these are from yours. So just shuffle them.
Do I do yours first or mine first?
Mine first, then.
Okay, so just to make sure, 5 centimeters per second, Saikano, Blue Spring Ride, Kami-sama Kiss, and Inuyashiki. You have really nice handwriting, by the way.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
My handwriting is atrocious.
I had to do that thing where I had to get handwriting books and then trace the
Oh,
lines.
no way.
Yeah.
You've been conditioned to have good handwriting,
Yeah,
then.
and my mom has really good handwriting. Like, I can't even understand. Okay, The first pick, Inuyashiki Last Hero.
Oh, yes, you can dive into the edge.
All right, and then the next one. Let's see. Hold on. Blue Spring Ride. Okay.
Awesome.
Now
That's Aoharu something, right? I don't remember the name of it. Anyways.
Aoharu Ride or Aoharu Day, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Ride.
No, well, technically it's Ride, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
Japanese people will say Ride.
Okay, and then the last two picks for the anime closet cleanup.
If I get After the Rain, I'm just gonna laugh real loud. Okay, all right.
I hope you do. I actually want you to get After the Rain.
The Kawaii Complex Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior.
Okay.
And then the last one is The Eccentric Family.
Did not expect those. I literally pulled those two out of like a Mal list and said, you know what, just watch these. And lo and behold, you got them. So I guess it's going to be a while before you're going to be able to put After the Rain back on the list then. Because we have like a 1 season embargo on it,
Yeah,
right?
we have like a stipulation. Yeah. So to clarify, Will for Cleanup 3, which, Will, do you remember when we are actually doing that episode?
We're doing it after the summer premieres. So we're doing it in 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah, episode number 40. So
Yeah.
we can watch these in any order we want and as much as we want, but we need to finish it so then we can review it for episode number 40. Will, what are your four shows?
So I've got Iron Blooded Orphans, Promare, Endro, and You and Me.
I have Blue Spring Ride, Inuyashiki Last Hero, The Eccentric Family, and The Kawaii Complex Guide to Minors and Hostile Behavior.
Is there any from those four right now that you're like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this?
Blue Spring Ride. Blue Spring Ride I'm super hyped about.
For me, it has to be Promare. Because we've had this on the cleanup list for so fucking long, and I finally picked it.
I'll be really sad if you don't like it, but I also, I can't force you, right? If you don't
you
like
know
it,
how,
you don't like it, right?
So with Promare, right? You know those two shorts that they have?
Oh, yeah. Like Leo Hen and the other guy's
Something
name.
Head, right?
Yeah.
Are they must-watches?
No, but they help provide context. One is more important than the other, but they're both entertaining. In fact, if anything, I think watching it ahead of time would be good.
Okay, because I've watched one of them. I forgot which one.
They're like 10 minutes each.
I think it's Leo Hen. Yeah, they're very short. They're
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
just half episodes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, awesome. I am stoked as fuck because Iron Blooded Orphans was never something that I would have just said, you know what, I'm going to watch it because I'm not a huge Gundam fan.
I mean, I'm not either, but we both have it on our plan to watch list. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pull the trigger, Will.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Hey,
There you go.
I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just going to ignore that. But like with regards to Gundam, like okay, there's Mobile Suit, there's like Gundam, there's Wing, right? There's Hathaway. But everybody, if they're talking about Mobile Suit Gundam, won't shut the fuck up about Iron Blooded Orphans. So I have to know. I have to know what is up with this. So I'm pretty stoked to watch it.
I watched a lot of Double Zero. I quite like Double Zero, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Wing was it for me. But that was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't remember anything from Gundam other than of course the Gundam themselves.
So that is the end of the first half of the Good Anime Palette podcast, episode number 37.
Yeah. So wow, this is I'm actually very very excited to go into the next section. But we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna grab some lunch, and then when we come back, we'll go straight into the topic for today's episode. Remember, episode 37. We'll catch y'all later.
Everybody, and welcome back to the second half of episode 37 of the Good Anime Palette podcast. I'm your co-host Jason. Will is over there checking something on his phone.
Oh no, I was just cleaning some dust off my phone.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice little phone.
It is a nice little phone.
Oh god. Okay, so we went over our I guess our summary in terms of how we felt the spring season had been going. We know that we're anticipating quite a few different things to watch out for in summer, but we're not going to be going over that. We actually have that scheduled for a later episode. Instead, today we're going to be kicking off the Good Anime Palette Podcast Season 4.
Right. So what are we
with,
talking about with our first premiere?
I think it's about time that we actually it's been a while. So like in the first season, it was the formative years, learning about the protagonists that are Fluffy Senpai, Jason, and Edgelord Sama Will. Second season was essentially that first sort of exploration into their character backstories and laying out the plot lines. Season 3 is when the conflict started kicking in, with the whole discussion of the dichotomy of anime and all that.
Oh, fuck
and
you.
so then that means now going into season 4, we're finally kicking off things with the GAP tournament arc.
To be precise, we are not actually having a tournament arc.
If only.
But our topic is about tournaments in anime and manga.
What we really should do is just invite all the other YouTubers and podcasters and just have like a full on fucking like straight up podcast Anycast fucking tournament arc.
Yeah, as if we could convince them. Yeah, sorry. God damn it. Stupid mic.
Yeah, Mike is drifting to the side.
All
Okay,
right,
so
okay.
How do we want to kick this off then? Do we want to just go into what the fuck tournament arcs are if people don't already know what they are?
Do we need to grab Webster's dictionary for tournament, Will?
Tournament is essentially like a competition or like a form of combat between different participants to achieve a ultimate goal, which is to win or to attain a title of some sort.
Very close, very close. Oxford Dictionary has it as, in a sport or game, a series of contests between a number of competitors who compete for an overall prize. They also have a second meaning for, in the Middle Ages, a sporting event in which two knights, or two groups of knights, jousted on horsebacks with blunted weapons, each trying to knock the other off, the winner receiving a prize.
So this is actually like doesn't include like the Roman Empire then.
No, because of course it's about the Middle Ages, right?
Which then means that like things like Cestus wouldn't be counted as a tournament arc because that was before the Middle Ages.
Look, Cestus...
we're not being pedantic, by the way. We're just shooting the shit.
No, but really, tournaments and tournament arcs in anime and manga, I think, is especially relevant comparatively to other forms of media, primarily because I think it is a good culmination of hype moments and a lot of these fan speculations, which we'll get into. And just Will and I are just going to spend a brief... I mean,
within the zeitgeist of anime and manga, like, tournament arcs are super important to the point where, like, beyond tournament arcs, you have people who theory craft and do, like, anime death battles. It's like, oh, what would happen if Luffy were to fight Goku? Right? What would happen if Naruto were to actually fight Sasuke, like at the very, very end, and actually like after they've accumulated all their powers? What would happen if you got like Sonic versus Mario and all that kind of shit?
Like, I don't know how many times I have seen the comment, if Saitama was against Goku, who would win?
There's people within like the Dragon Ball like fandom where it's like, oh, like Goku would totally beat COVID. Goku would totally beat AIDS.
Oh, like, what about Superman, man?
Yeah, dude, Superman is totally like he's anti-syphilis, bro. It's like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, it gets to that point where people like go a little crackpot when it comes to like theory crafting that they will do whatever they can to defend their main protagonist, and I guess that's generally like what tournament arcs do.
Right.
Not only does it create hype, it creates a fandom for specific characters as well.
Yeah, and I think going off of that kind of logic, if we go by kind of our broad definition of what tournament arcs are in anime and manga, there is a very clear indication of who against who usually, at least on paper. Maybe there are surprise twists and stuff, but at least going in, you're like, oh, this person against this person. And then there are brackets, so then it's very clearly defined and structural. Or like, okay, go from like like March Madness for basketball is like top 16, Sweet 16.
You have a draft, then like you do like a round robin, or then you have like brackets, and
Right.
then you clearly could see your path to victory, and you have to see all the opponents you fight along the way. It's like, for example, like I know I'm jumping a little bit, but like imagine it's like within anime and manga, right? When you're watching Haikyuu, you know that Karasuno School is going to play against Date Tech. In terms of the UA Academy, you know that Todoroki is going to go up against Midori.
Yeah, and you also know that usually a result is assumed to have taken place in order to get to the next part of the tournament. There's always going to be a winner or loser, or sometimes even a draw in which both are eliminated, but there's always going to be a definitive result. And I think the last thing that I think is really relevant is for a lot of people within the same property, having a tournament arc allows a very definitive way for the mangaka or author or writers of the anime or manga to be like, this is the winner, this is the loser. So in this instance, this person is better than that person. And everyone just be like, okay.
At least in that moment, they're better than that person. You never know. Plot
Right.
twists and shit, right? But it's very much like the tournament arc serves a purpose in either fleshing out a character's backstory, creating and introducing new characters, or it also helps to essentially reveal the overall powers or weaknesses of characters, and then therefore it plays into the rest of the plot line, right? Like if, for example, you're talking about a character that is super good at everything, but all of a sudden you put them in one specific situation in a tournament arc and they fail, then you're like, that's the canon part. That's how we know this person is no longer superhuman. We know that in future episodes, they're going to harp back on this.
And usually with tournament arcs, your environment or arena in which the tournament takes place usually is a rather neutral field. Okay, it's just literally like, you know, in those fighting games,
Yeah.
those training stages is just bare bones, grids, and that is your arena. Or there are environments, but then the environment is either like randomly drawn or it's neutral, or there is some sort of way to sort of very clearly, and I guess that is really at the end of the day, clearly quantify and see the structure of this tournament, these opponents, these adversaries, these teammates.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm not going to use like a tournament example, but let's say, for example, like red line, right? Like when you have all the different racers competing on the red line, everybody knows that line. Everybody knows the structure of it. Everybody knows the random shit that happens. It just comes down to your ability to navigate it and your ability to overcome all your adversaries and showcase the best of your ability. That's literally it.
And for people who say that, well, red line is technically not a tournament, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. It's a competition, but then in order to get to that final competition, you have to go through to qualify in their own region or something, right? So then, in that sense, it is a tournament because it's a series of competitions.
The word tournament itself is quite loose, which is why later on we'll explain certain things, and when we go over recommendations, there's like a clear reason as to why we didn't include specific series and properties. But for all intents and purposes, like we will use as many examples as possible to talk about tournament arcs, or just in general the purpose of a tournament for series and properties. Another thing I think we might want to go over as well is just in the event that when you find a character that you really, really, really like and you want to vouch for them, like dude, like if it wasn't for the UA high school battle, I don't think Todoroki's fandom would be as high, right?
Okay, if we're going straight into My Hero Academia,
But it's just an example. We're just glossing over it for now.
I mean, okay, we'll have to get to that.
Yeah, we will go more into it as well. But I'm saying like that's as an example of like what a tournament arc does in terms of like not just generating hype for a series, but also creating very, very likable characters. Just in the same way that it also helps dictate who's going to be a villain or who's going to be a pain in your ass throughout like a specific series that you watch. So that's specifically like why tournament arcs, at least we feel, are important or at least intrinsic within specific pockets of anime.
Yeah, and we will mainly talk about two specific genres being shonen and sports. But I also want to say that the last thing that we would get on as to why tournament arcs are important in anime and manga is its variability. Because as Will mentioned, or if you have watched any shonen action anime, you would know that the formula is extremely easy. There is a bracket.
It's the most like salient way of seeing progression and conflict.
Yeah. Whether it is you progress through points, you progress through elimination, the rules are simple. And of course, right now we're excluding weird interjections like cheating or like twists of, oh, the enemy all of a sudden shows up and messes up the tournament.
Game fixing, stuff
exactly.
like that.
If we exclude all that, because we will get into that, and also the flashbacks of the character's backstory, or really,
dude, how many flashbacks were there in like Records of Ragnarok, right? Like there's that's another thing where it's not just seeing physical conflict. It's also mental anguish and conflict. It's also the buildup of a specific character's backstory, which then leads into whether you like the character or not.
Or maybe the character is unlikable, and then maybe through their backstory or their flashbacks, they become at least maybe a bit more sympathetic.
More understanding of why they are the way they are.
And when we talk about our sports episode, I think episode 10?
Something like that. Dude, we've been around the block for a long time now.
The kind of freeze time of flashbacks to provide context and sort of hype, and then all of a sudden go back to the present time is a format that is a very, very ingrained in anime and manga that you don't see that much of in other forms of media, right? And I think if we were to see that with live action, you don't see a flashback that lasts like half the episode length, right?
It's just hard to do that because like with live action, the storytelling format is very like linear in one direction, and then that's it. Of course, there's going to be many examples that buck what I say, but you know what? Like, I'm just trying to be as general as possible. Anime and manga have that kind of freedom where it's like, yeah, you can have 10 panels or 5 minutes of just pure physical combat, but during those moments, it's like again, I hate going back to the Haikyuu example because there's so many, but like when one person is spiking the ball, that spike could take 10 minutes because during that 10 minutes there's a 9-minute flashback.
I mean, there is that very typical saying of in Dragon Ball Z, the guy holds a spirit bomb, but then that takes 3 episodes because there is dialogue and flashbacks that really the whole interaction is like 20 seconds, right? And obviously when we talk about live action, there's the fictional and the actual sporting events. Those you obviously can't see the mindset of the athletes. And with live action, you can't do that much like flashbacks because it just doesn't seem fit for the type of...
It's hard to do it quickly.
Yeah, it is hard. I'm not saying that they don't have flashbacks. I'm just saying that...
It's not as seamless as if you would do it in anime and manga.
Yeah.
Because the sequencing and like the framing of flashbacks, it's much easier just to run through like a 10-second flashback than it is to do and repeat the same thing to the same effect within live action. I'd argue that.
Yeah. Also with anime and manga, it's just such a good meme, right? I think Will and I appreciate an AniTuber by the name of Giguk, and his sort of one of his many memes is
enthusiasm for tournament arcs.
Like, oh, is this a tournament arc? Is this a tournament arc? And I was just like, yeah, I also care a lot about tournament arcs. I don't care that much about shonen, to be honest. Like, this is me, Jason, saying. But tournament arcs...
But when you talk about shonen, the most memorable moments usually are the tournament arcs.
All right, you want to get into it, Will?
We need to go into it.
We have to.
Because you can't talk about tournament arcs without talking about shonen. Like we'll talk about sports later, but like you can't have a amazing shonen without a really, really amazing fucking tournament arc. Now, not every shonen will have it. Of course, I'm not saying everything's the be-all, end-all. But Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, fucking
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. Dude, even fucking Dead Man Wonderland. I was going to say Dead Man Wonderland. Not that one. Like, every big hit that you know of would have... Dude, Naruto literally has, like, 5 different tournament arcs.
Yeah, because they have to...
The Chunin exam,
they have to exam their... Yeah, exactly. I was about to say
right?
That. Yeah, exactly.
Like, even Pokemon has a tournament arc.
So, like, if we go by Naruto, the Garu Rock Lee fight is... What's the opposite of infamous? Is extremely well done, well known to be one of the best tournament arcs of Naruto.
Yeah, outside of okay, so there's that one fight where Rock Lee gets drunk and he fights against that bone ninja. That one was a really memorable fight. But like, if you were to talk about like the one moment in Naruto, not including Shippuden, but just Naruto, everybody goes back to the part where Rock Lee drops his leg weights and starts beating the shit out of Garu.
So good.
Right? But you said, right? It's like you don't really care that much about shonen. You probably don't even like Naruto that much.
But at that time, I did care a lot.
Yeah,
but yes.
But like upon reflection, it's like, yeah, you know what? Like Naruto was kind of goofy. It was like, in all respect, it's just a decent anime. But you can't look past the Rock Lee Garu fight in that tournament arc as like one of the most hyped experiences in anime and manga.
And I was the moment that it was extremely apparent to me that My Hero Academia is a show that is going to make it big is the Todoroki and Deku fight. And the exact moment is when Todoroki does something. Actually, Deku does something.
You could say it, man. It's
Then-
long enough.
Okay, when he summons his fire, I was so hyped. Like, that whole episode was so good. And that late title card was like, and it really does ingrain a lot of the most amazing aspects of tournament arcs. Backstory, a clear villain, not villain, adversary and main character, flashbacks, revelations, even power jumps, right? Or, like, it is just so good.
We can even go as recent as Jujutsu Kaisen.
Also, like, Sawano's music.
Yeah, dude, fucking, like, anytime that's it. Literally, like, the reason why there are times when it's like, oh, of course, like, the source is going to be great, and the anime can only adapt as much. No, like, every studio, when they know there's a tournament arc coming up, will go balls to the wall in terms of producing it, not just for the music, but for the characterizations, the story plot lines, the animation sequences, the art quality. Everything is like, if you just watch most of My Hero Academia, there are going to be some pretty poor animation segments, but you can guarantee that the animation quality in a tournament arc is just mamma mia.
The Sakuga moments, right?
It's like you just can't, like, ignore it.
And with the earliest time that I can think of is Hunter x Hunter and Naruto, when I read the manga for both of them, and then I watched the anime. And it really goes to show that how, with action and shonen stuff, not live action,
Anime adaptations, right?
Thank you, Will. I that's why we're partners.
I was gonna say live action Naruto. I don't think we're ready for that, dude. I'm just fine.
No, don't do that.
I'm just fine with people cosplaying that shit. Do not make that a reality.
But yes, it is thoroughly, thoroughly different, even though it's the same storyline, the same sequence of events.
It's the same with, like, Jujutsu Kaisen. It's the same kind of premise, the same kind of characters. Again, the 3-0, right? 2 guys, 1 girl. But then, the Tokyo versus Kyoto tournament arc. Holy fuck, was that good.
Oh, this might be a weird time, but Will and I also watched Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Oh, yeah. Nice little name drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking good, too. Really
Fucking
good movie.
great, too. We forgot to talk about that. We'll maybe talk about it more next episode.
Yeah. So, the thing with, like, shonen, it's like you want to showcase hype moments. That's the whole purpose of shonen. It's all action, balls to the wall, nonstop adrenaline. And so having a tournament arc is, like, the best canvas for that. It's the perfect moment to showcase how good your studio is in showing 2 characters beating each other up to see good versus bad, and that's it. It's just that simple.
Or side A versus side B, right? Like,
dude, there's so many, like, not just, like, central, like, conflicts, but when you have, like, a side conflict, those are also like, whoa, dude. Like, I did not see that character in that light. I really fucking like that character now.
I mean, that's why we like watching sporting events and competitions in general, because it just has that kind of not only camaraderie, but also competitiveness that eventually always leads to hype or even disappointing moments. And that high and low is exactly why tournament arcs are great in anime and manga.
Yeah, so let's go that direction then, right? Like, move on from the shonen. We've made it very, very clear that, if your anime's got a good tournament arc, you're going to get some hype. You're going to get fans. Now, on to the sports side, on the other hand.
Right.
I think it's quite clear, right? Like, if you play in a league, you play in a tournament, you play in a cup competition, these are, in essence, a form of tournament. All sports are, in essence, like that. That's just the way that the sort of whole organization is formatted. You have a start, you have a finish, you have games in between, you have knockout phases, and then you have a final between potentially a victor and a runner-up.
I also feel that sports, anime, and manga has... Okay, I'm pretty sure what I'm about to say is also privy to, like, shonens and other kinds of tournaments. But sports, anime, manga tournament arcs, that's a mouthful, they also go quite a bit on the losing side. Especially when we mention Haikyuu or, in baseball with Ace of the Diamond, there are always going to be a winner, usually the main character, or eventually, at least. And then there's always going to be a loser because there has to be by definition in a tournament arc.
Yeah.
So then when you see what the two sides are fighting for and one wins and prevails and the other one loses, you sometimes, especially in Haikyuu, I remember, now that you're mentioning it, the heartbreak that not only the fans but those athletes feel are sometimes so raw. And then when you add that in with context of flashbacks, you really feel for these people. And like, if we go that step further, like these are usually like teenagers because usually it takes place in high school, and they have to learn to accept defeat in grace. And
I think that's one slight difference between a tournament arc in sports as opposed to a shonen. I think again, this is just me being subjective, but from my experience, sports anime and manga aren't afraid to let the main characters or the main team lose in a tournament because it shows growth. It shows despair.
I would argue that it has to happen. Right?
Because it's again, it's character development. It's developing of that storyline. Without it, it's just like, oh, what happens if you just keep winning all the time? Then you're just like, well, I guess the next season is watching like Karasuno just keep winning again and again and again, right? No, sometimes you actually need to take a step back and like learn and improve. And otherwise, you get stale.
And if you exclude the whole like the dark / defeat second act versus the redemption arc or the champion arc in the third act, so to speak, I also think another reason why sports and anime is so good is because it also provides a window of opportunity. Again, as I mentioned it before, the mentality of the athletes, the mentality of even fictional characters in My Hero Academia, if we go back to Shonen real quick, or the Jujutsu Kaisen, the two sisters. Technically, you don't need to know all that about their backstory. It's just two people kind of wailing at each other and trying to see who's superior. But at the end of the day, with those contexts, it's like the hypest shit ever. And it's dope. And I just feel that sports is this really good conduit where you may not have that physical ability. It is still somewhat grounded in reality. And it's just awesome. Right? I won't necessarily go to a volleyball game, but I'll watch the shit out of Haikyuu, right?
But because now that you've watched Haikyuu, hey, look, if there is ever an invite to a volleyball game, you'd be like, yeah, maybe. Or if the Olympics show up, it's like, dude, I never really cared about ping pong. But then, like, now after watching ping pong the animation and the Tokyo Olympics going down, and it was the finals of the mixed doubles, I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I can watch this. And it was fucking hype. But it also was like laying into the fact that like I've watched enough tournament arcs from anime ping pong. So I was just like, okay, it did its job. It absolutely did its job. And that was like the purpose of doing like sports anime manga in the first place. We talked about it in our episode where like during the time when Japan was trying to get a foothold in soccer and like with the upcoming World Cup, Captain Tsubasa released a new manga and everyone was on that shit.
Blue Lock is the same thing too. That is the reason why. In fact, they mention it in the very beginning pages.
It came out after the World Cup in which France won.
So, the other thing that I also want to say about shonen and sports tournament arcs is, you knew. Come on, Will. We all know the good guy, the main character, is always going to prevail at the end, right? Even if we exclude the midway defeat, right, to rise back up. You knew that. I knew that. The destination is always established and it's always confirmed.
Yeah.
In the eyes of everyone.
Yeah, sports and shonen anime and manga are not cruel enough for you to see that your main character is going to suck in the end.
But it is the journey, right? Like the journey through the training, the journey through the tournament arc that really shows growth and really shows, in some ways, maturity too, right?
Yeah, we know what's going to happen at the end, but we like what we see because, hey, who wouldn't want to see their favorite main character end up gaining a new power or showing that they have the mental willpower to overcome challenge?
Or maybe it's a team tournament and then these two people that don't like each other all of a sudden bonded and are like, well, we both don't like each other, or we don't like each other still, but we respect each other and let's go beat this fucking thing.
Oh, wow. It's all about respect at the end, huh?
Yeah, man. It's all about honor and respect, my dude.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, you definitely see a lot of that in terms of like sports, right? But what happens when it's like I think I know where you're going with this. It's like non-contact sports.
Yes. So I added a section just now that I wanted to mention, which is non-action anime. And no, non-action anime tournament arcs. Wait.
Not full, but I know what you're getting
Yeah,
at
yeah.
here, right?
So we always think of tournament arcs as, hey, guys, person A versus person B, or team A versus team B, and they just fight, like fist fight, or use guns, or use magical powers, or whatnot. But especially when we go back to Shonen again, funny enough, Shokugeki no Soma is what I would say the epitome of a non-action tournaments, where it's technically just about food, guys. There's no bloodshed, so to speak. Maybe, like, unfortunately, like some animals get killed, but for food. But like,
oh, fuck them animals, dude.
oh Jesus, no, do not fuck them animals. But if you have to eat meat, So, God, Will, you threw me off there, Jesus Christ.
But then, Food Wars is a clear example of an anime that has tournament arcs, lots of tournament arcs.
Yeah,
but it's not like it is shonen, right? There is a combative element to it, but not in the sense that oh, I'm going to dribble a ball past you and score, or I'm going to put you in an arm lock and force you to submit and win. No, this is more just I have these skills in Chinese cuisine, and I'm going to pit them against your knowledge of aromatic spices, and let's see who
Italian,
wins.
right? Exactly. And then to go one step further, things like chess, shogi, for Marsh comes in like
karate?
a line. Karate, but karate is a bit more athletically.
No, because
driven,
it's
right?
not. It's not just down to the flipping of the cards. It's also knowing of the poems, right?
I knew you'd say that.
Right?
You see, exactly.
That's where it is. It's not just down to seeing
It's strategizing, man, because it's your formation, right?
and you want to see that. You want to see not just someone oh, I'm big monkey brain strong, I beat up, you win. That's no, you don't want to just see that. You want to see someone actually who takes the time to be so engrossed and passionate about a sport, about a hobby, that they'll do whatever they can to be the number one.
And I'll mention 3 other animes back to back to back, but I'm sure, Will, you can speak to any of these 3. So the first thing is Saki, which is about mahjong, and there are tournament arcs all over the goddamn place.
It's good, yeah.
And it is just straight up it's just a bunch of people sitting at a mahjong table playing mahjong, but it's hype and full of the same ingredients that is in every tournament arc. Then there is what was it? There's a quiz bowl one. I forgot if you remember.
Oh, I know which. Okay, if you want to know, you can just refer back to our sports anime episode.
Yeah, I know, right? And then there is also, what am I thinking of? Shit. I just lost my train of thought.
Don't think of shit, jeez. But we know what you're talking about. I think in general, tournament arcs aren't always just straight up combative. It's not just straight up I punch you, you punch me, so who's last standing, right? Or oh, I'm going to do one thing here and do one thing there and see who gets as many points. You're really racking your brain trying to figure out what you're trying to talk about, right?
Yeah, I'm super it's really bugging me. But so let's just move on then until I can remember, and then we'll get back to that.
Yeah. So I actually would think we just switch things around from what we have on the docket here, because it just seems like a nice little segue, because we've been talking about tournaments within anime, tournament arcs within a specific series. We haven't really talked much about a series that is just about a tournament. There are actually a fair amount of tournament exclusive properties that are really fucking good.
You might say in the realm of tournaments, we are destined to mention this series, Will.
Yes. So there's quite a few. I think the most clear example is as recent as 3 years ago when the manga started serializing, and then Netflix decided to drop the anime adaptation, Records of Ragnarok. It's just 12 gods versus 12 humans, and that's it. That's the whole fucking series. And it's really fucking good in the manga. In the anime, on the other hand, look, I think you can find enjoyment of it. I just think that the animation is that's where the issue is. Where if your whole series is just a tournament arc, that means every single thing has to be good. Whereas if it's an action shonen, or if it's a sports anime, not everything has to be pristine quality animation.
Right. There's downtime, or there's slice of life stuff, or there's training arcs, that kind of thing, or scrimmage arcs.
But imagine you are just doing fucking battles and contests every single minute. right? You're not Ufotable, right? The Fate series managed to do it really, really, really fucking well, right? So that's where like sometimes tournament specific series can have a bit of a downside because you have to be high octane the whole time, and if you aren't, it's very easy to pick holes. Which is why it's easier to read Records of Ragnarok because the quality is consistent all the way through. But in terms of the anime adaptation,
By Graphinica,
it's not
it's
great.
just not that great. Also, Netflix, you dropped the ball on that one yet again. But hey, look, there's a season 2, I guess. So good for us, I guess. I don't know.
There's a season 3 for Kengan Ashura. That's one that
Yeah,
I'm really, really happy about.
But that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, there of course there are going to be people that are like not that hot on the 3D CG of it, but I didn't really care about it. I've read and watched both.
Hey,
of them,
Will, is it MMA oriented?
It is very much MMA oriented.
Is there tournaments in it?
It's. I think that the whole premise of it is that they're in a death battle tournament to essentially be the very best.
The best that ever was, right? Yes. Then it counts, right? Earlier I was talking about Destiny because of course we're talking about the Fate series with the Holy Grail Wars. It's a huge property with crazy amounts of tournaments.
We do want to go a little bit into that though, because it's like when we're that specifically is a battle royale, right? In a similar vein, we also need to include things like death games or high stakes games. So we're also including things like, for example, battle royale. We're also including things like Darwin's Game, the manga Alice in Borderland.
I mean, even Kagegurui, right?
In essence, yes. Because the tournament is to achieve higher social status by being rich.
Yes.
Right? Kaiji, same thing, right? You're battling to be able to get out of debt. And if you win, then you're debt free. But I think like it comes with a caveat because whilst they technically do count as tournaments, those specific genres themselves have their own tags on like AniChart. They have their own tags on my anime list. So it's like, would you call the Fate series a tournament series? Yeah, but it's kind of not really explaining the whole thing.
So it is this is strictly my opinion. I think that death games are not tournaments.
But they do feature a tournament, right?
Tournaments are not death games, but death games are tournaments. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because death games is the format, the power like struggle, the different sides are very reminiscent and is exactly like a tournament because the less people in a death game, the closer you are to being the winner of this so-called competition or tournament.
Yep.
However, a lot of these tournament arcs in all these various animes and mangas, people don't die. Or they get seriously injured, but they don't die. Whereas in death games, things like, King's Game, Darwin's Game, Gleipnir, and all that stuff.
Future Diary,
of course, Mirai Nikki. Like, the death part is very important, if you will, right?
Well, what about gladiators and fighting in the Colosseum? Right? The end result is, if you lose, you die.
Right.
So that's why it has to come with a caveat because it still technically counts as a tournament, but for all intents and purposes, like you said, death games are a very, very specific niche that, yes, they are tournaments, but to call Future Diary a tournament series is kind of right?
But I would say that not all animes have to have tournaments, but almost by definition, since it's a subgenre of tournaments, every death game is a tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
last person standing.
Like My Hero Academia is not a tournament anime. There are tournament arcs in it, of course, but there is a grander story, or it's not just about the tournaments like Records of Ragnarok. It is just about superheroes. But it just so happens that there's a tournament this time, and that's it. With, Mirai Nikki, right? Future Diary. If you exclude the tournament and the competitiveness, what are you left with? Actually, don't answer that question because I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say. A really twisted love story. But hey, guys.
No, it's more like a really, really interesting game of hide and seek.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah.
Yeah. With some time-bending abilities. You haven't watched it yet, watch it. Future Diary is great. Well,
I still think Future Diary is pretty good. But I don't think
it gets a little more like acclaim than it deserves.
I in my opinion, yes. I don't know if everyone
I'm
subscribes to that.
I'm pretty like on the fence with it. Like I like it enough, but at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna tell you to like, hey, you have to enjoy this shit.
Okay, so now that we have talked about tournaments, why it's important in various different genres of anime and manga, why it
whether
is-
it's like just a shonen, whether it's a sports, or even if it's just specifically a tournament exclusive series.
I still can't remember the two examples I'm thinking of. But,
That's all good.
fuck it. We also compared it a little bit to live action. Let's go a bit down memory lane, Will, and talk about our most memorable tournaments. I think we have already mentioned some of them, but let's go knee deep into some of them now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we went over the Tokyo versus Kyoto school arc in the school festival from Jujutsu Kaisen.
I think is it like a sports festival technically?
Sports
right?
festival.
Yeah.
And then we also talked about the UA Academy sports festival
In season 1.
season 1.
Look, that fight. Actually, that whole tournament is pretty dope.
I liked it a lot, but there was, if we're talking about like school festival, school tournaments, I think it's really hard to beat, the Honoji Academy battle in Kill la Kill.
Okay, so I knew you were going to mention this. I love Kill la Kill. I thought their tournament arc was just good.
What?
I
It was
thought it was
amazing.
just
It was
good.
quirky. It was funny. It was because it allowed for you to see like the really weird, ecstatic side of the school, and like to see
It was hella stupid in an awesome way.
exactly seeing them go up against the big four, and it's again you're just watching like, people just fight with their clothes and shit. It's just like this really is.
Just think about it. You're
out
fighting
there.
with your clothes.
Yeah, but it's fucking amazing. It's super fun. I wouldn't say that like one's better than the other because both of them are completely different, but they're both still,
Oh, I
Tournament
remember. I
arcs.
remember my non-action tournament arcs: Sounds of Life and Sound Euphonium,
Oh, right.
because they are
Yeah.
music-oriented shows, so they're not really action. But they go to competitions, they go to regionals. There are literally tournaments where schools get eliminated.
Oh my god, are you gonna now say that Kongming is a tournament series then? Because
Oh, we can't really say that, but yes, yes.
there's an
Yes.
element. There's an element.
There's an element. I'll
Right.
give you that 100%. So
Do you remember much from watching? Actually, I don't even remember how far you got into for
no,
One Piece.
no.
So when I say the Corrida Coliseum,
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Okay. It's one of the most memorable tournament arcs that I can remember from a shonen series. But it's also it's because it's fucking One Piece. Unfortunately, it's just One Piece.
Wait, are you really fucking One Piece?
I wish.
Oh damn!
Because
son.
then at least we'd be getting to the end. I want to find out if they know when they're fucking like actually getting to the One
so
Piece.
someone finishes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then Luffy's just like, oh, this is how we end, right?
Oh, this is elastic,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Fuck.
Silicone, right?
We're terrible human beings, Will.
The other one I wanted to bring up was again, it's something that's more specific to me because I know that you might have seen some of Deadman Wonderland, but
No, I haven't.
Yeah, but the Corpse Carnival was fucking great. It was one of the best things, and then it kind of went a little downhill in the manga, and then it picked up again, and then it ended up really, 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 really good. I don't know how it was animated in the anime because I refuse to watch it because it's fucking awful. So yeah, just like with Tokyo Ghoul, just read the manga for Deadman Wonderland. Don't watch the anime.
So even though what I'm about to say is actually not a recommendation, is actually the polar opposite, there was one show that I was going to watch in anticipation for this recording. And that one is The Zodiac Wars by Nishio,
yes.
who did the Monogatari series and the Pretty Boy Detective Club. He also wrote, and then there was an anime by, of all things, Griffinica in 2017 fall about I guess 12 participants,
Yep.
each belonging to a certain zodiac or an animal, and then they kind of duel it out to figure out who's the best. And I heard so many middling to terrible things about this show that I wanted to check it out, but I didn't check it out in time due to time constraints. But all indications point to it being not great.
Yeah, dude, Netflix can't stop reminding me that such a thing exists. So I am not gonna buckle down and actually watch it.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch like 2 episodes and report back in.
You mean
know?
2 minutes, right?
Fuck if I know, right?
I'll be the opening credits, and then that's it.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Well, we've gone over like what tournament arcs are. I think people already know, but it's also like why they're so fucking good, why they're so hyped. Why don't we recommend some series that like actually have some pretty damn good tournament arcs?
All right. So Will and I learned after the fact that probably having 10 recommendations total is kind of just way too much for everyone involved. So we have narrowed it down.
It's like 3 or 4 each, maybe less.
Yeah, or like a total of 5 or 6. So
yeah. And also, like, I wanted to bring this up again as well later on because it's like we could recommend some sports anime, but it's like we've already done that before. So we're gonna try and not go into like pure sports. At least it's like not the conventional sports.
Right. Both of us are recommending. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
I know
right?
exactly what you mean.
There's one actually I don't want to really recommend because I've talked enough about it already. So
I see it. I see it.
So
Kengan Ashura is the one you're thinking about, right?
Because I can't stop talking about it.
But yeah, I should probably watch it, and I probably will actually. But
it's fucking good.
I mean, 3rd season, right?
Watch that. Don't watch Baki.
Ooh, yeah, about that one. Huh?
So you've got 2 recommendations, and now I've got 2 recommendations. Both of yours I know very, very well because one I've already watched, and I need to watch 2nd season, and the other one I've made it like on my plan to watch list that I should check it out.
So let's talk about Megalo Box. So Megalo Box is a Netflix exclusive that also has a 2nd season called
Nomad,
Megalo
right?
Box Nomad. Will and I watched it ages ago because we both realized we haven't watched it at that time. Has nothing to do with GAP at the time. And we both thoroughly loved it. The whole rocky underdog story of this guy named Joe, who in this world, they are people who do boxing, but they are augmented with certain machinery such that it doesn't become the traditional boxing anymore.
They basically wear like an exo armor.
Exactly. And our main character, Joe, decides to not wear anything and just beat them with their own raw
He's like
skills.
he wears something, but he's wearing like really old school training gear.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
that's like, why are you doing that? It's like riding a bicycle for a MotoGP.
Right, like it's I think the nickname was Regular Joe.
Yeah.
And then your coach is like
He's just Joe. No, he's Junk Dog. His name is Junk Dog, but he's
Junk.
just called Joe.
All right.
Yeah.
And then your coach is this drunken, debt-ridden guy down on his luck that just wants to scam people all day.
It just sounds like Rocky.
It is Rocky, to be honest.
Yeah. But anyways, like specifically for Megalo Box, it actually carries a lot of importance for the character to be called Joe because it is like the 50th year commemoration of the original series that it's based on of Ashita no Joe or Tomorrow's Joe, like a really, really old school boxing anime and manga. That's the first chapter actually came out in 1968, and I think Megalo Box aired on 2018.
So we will probably watch
Nomad.
Joe.
We have to watch Nomad. And we also need to read up on some. It just makes sense, right? You
Yeah,
want to
it
go back to
does.
the roots and see.
Yeah, I know, right? Like you gotta watch Rocky 1 before you watch Rocky Balboa. Sorry.
No,
I can't say that with a straight face. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
But in a way, it's like it's almost like if you watch Creed, you should watch Rocky.
Okay. Creed. Like I heard it's real good though. I haven't seen.
Michael B. Jordan's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Yep. So one of my recommendations is that you talked about like the whole non-contact tournament arcs, right? Like with
non-contact. Yeah.
non-action, non-contact.
Yeah.
With Food Wars. I'm going to take you down memory lane because you know damn well what this series is because you've also watched and read it before. Yakitate Japan.
Shake and bake, baby.
Yeah. So Yakitate Japan was the Food Wars before Food Wars came along. I'm not trying to be like, yo, fuck Food Wars. It's the OG, baby. No. It's just more that like it's a little lesser known because it's actually quite old. So Yakitate Japan originated as a Japanese manga that was serialized in Shogakukan's Weekly Shonen Sunday from 2001 through 2007. Total of 26 volumes. So the anime was adapted by Sunrise back in 2004. I forgot which season that is. That would be that'd be fall, right? For October? Yeah, it should be fall.
Yeah. It should be fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so fall 2004.
For how many episodes, Will?
20 No. Oh,
Yeah.
69.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah. So what Yakitate Japan is, it's just plain and simple. It's just a kid who was on the quest to create Japan, or as in pan being bread. So Japan, he wants to create the national bread of Japan, because Japan, when you think about it, it's more known for it, with its uses of wheat. It's more known to make noodles, make rice, but bread is not necessarily a staple within the Japanese diet.
Or even in Western world, it's usually a more Eastern world. It's more of a European, Western-oriented thing to have bread. The most I think we have would be buns, right?
Yeah, steamed buns.
Steamed buns, right?
But then in terms of baking bread, that was not necessarily something that like Japan is intrinsically known for. Even though if you walk through Japan now, the amount of bakeries you have, I mean, dude, like Jason loves them Japanese donuts, right? You know, Japanese bread.
Japanese donuts are great, dude.
Yeah. So what's so special about this is, like, you know, Shokugeki no Soma, kid just loves to cook, wants to beat everybody who's an acclaimed chef. Wonderful. This one, on the other hand, is a shonen series, because the main character of Yakitate Japan has a superpower. Okay?
I know, yeah. Let's hear the superpower. I know exactly what
So
you're going to say.
so the main character, Kazuma Azuma. Yes, that's his name. Kazuma Azuma. He was so good that they almost named him twice. His superpower is when creating bread. Bread is a science in terms of, like, baking is a science in that you have fermentations, you have temperatures, you have molds, you have different ways of being able to leave in a bread. But all of it comes down to the elements in which you operate in. So, for example, if you're making bread in an area that's very humid or very dry, very cold or very hot, your bread's going to take on a different form. But the main thing is that no matter what, they will always have to go through a fermentation process. Fermentation usually gets faster when it's in warmer climates. And your boy Kazuma Azuma has the ability to warm up his hands to be able to speed up the fermentation process.
No. He is unusually blessed with warm hands. No, sorry.
That's his power. He has warmer hands.
And being blessed with unusually warm hands that allow dough to ferment faster, Azuma is able to bring his baking innovations to another level.
Yeah.
I'm reading from the plot synopsis here.
I'm reading from Wikipedia.
I know, exactly.
Because I forgot what he had.
Yeah, tomato.
It's good, though. It's actually, like, it's a fun series. It's a little more lighthearted than Food Wars.
Yeah, and I think so when you mentioned this in the docket, I actually went back to YouTube and looked up some clips. Some of the quote-unquote innovations or, like, out-of-the-box thinking are actually really cool. Whether or not they actually work in real life is a whole different thing. But I watched a clip that made me smile, like, from ear to ear. It involves a croissant.
The 324-layer croissant?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, dude.
I saw that clip. And then there was, like, all these other random things of innovating something that you just wouldn't think about, but it somehow, at least through anime logic, makes sense to you.
I think if you are a fan of Shokugeki no Soma, like, you should give Yakitate a chance, even if it is a lot older than Food Wars. I mean, damn, this thing came out fucking 18 years ago, but it's still Sunrise. Sunrise still had a certain level of quality with them, no matter when they released their stuff. So I'd say, yeah, give Yakitate Japan a chance. I think it's on Crunchyroll. I think it's on Amazon. It's not hard to. I think it might even be on Crunchyroll and
you'll
and
find
Amazon.
it.
It's on those two for sure.
But I am going to. My second recommendation is probably the most interesting recommendation that I have mentioned in a while. When we talk about sports, when we talk about tournament arcs, and then we mix in with cute girls, you'll be like, okay, so it's like a ballet, even though Danseur is awesome.
Oh, it's horse derby.
Oh yeah, it's horse. You know, like
which we need
Musume.
to watch more.
Yeah,
by the way,
we should watch more. Oh, maybe it is.
Oh wait, the Uma Musume game is online now. It's on Android. I should totally fucking get that and play. Holy fuck! Thanks for reminding me. Anyways, what were you saying? Something about cute girls doing.
Will,
tournament
do you
arcs?
like going to war?
Are there cute girls involved?
Yes, there are cute girls involved.
Then I'm in.
What about tanks, Will?
Yeah, I think, like, if it's a war, you would need as much firepower as possible, right? These cute girls are driving these tanks.
Yeah, and apparently every year in Japan they have a regional, sectional, and the national tournaments where they have tank wars, essentially. I'm talking none other than the very, very well-known 2012 to 2013 anime Girl and Panzer, or Girl Und Panzer.
The fandom for Girl Und Panzer is incredible. I know it's like whenever it's like people like break down like certain character stories and lines and like specific battles, like you have like this sort of like chart detailing everything. It is like it's way more detailed than if you were to explain Monogatari.
I remember when I was like a teenager or like I forgot when, a long time ago, let's just say. And then I remember reading a news article of the movie is out in theaters in Japan and how it kept going for like 30 weeks or something. And people just kept watching it time after time and time again to support the industry, to the point where, you know, similarly with Zombieland Saga, the district that houses the fictional Girl Und Panzer is like leaning into that and be like, yeah, my
dude, I'm looking up the Tankery Federation of Japan map of affiliate high schools, and it's literally like every single prefecture has a school. You go all the way from the north of Hokkaido down to Kumamoto in fucking, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So then if you look at the charts for how to watch Girl Und Panzer, so first of all, it's an anime original, so that's already interesting in of itself. But then you have, let's see, like there is like multiple lines and colored lines, and like some are canon, some are extra, some are, then there's like mangas and anime. It's just crazy. But I'm talking about the original season.
Okay, I want to watch now because I just saw that in Hyogo Prefecture in Kobe, the tank academy is called the Waffle Academy, but not just any waffle. It is the Japanese sugar waffles.
Yes.
That, holy fuck, are super addicting.
And each school has like a different persona or style. There's like a cute girl with a pink tank that's really crazy. There's like these Japanese feudal style tanks. Then there is like the main characters, and our main character, her mother and her sister is from this prestigious academy that always wins every single tank tournament, and she is now relegated to the sidelines because she's not as good as the other women in the family. And in this world, okay, so at this point I'm talking about tanks, right? And you're thinking like, oh my god, there's going to be blood and guts. The shells are apparently blank, to the point where if the tanks get hit, a cute little flag pops up on the side to sort of have like a white flag to surrender.
It's like laser tag?
It's kind of like laser tag. And then to make it one step further, these girls go crazy in depth into tank riding and how that works. And they do crazy maneuvers that apparently is real.
So like they do a lot of like wartime stratagems and all that.
It is insane. Like I can't even begin to tell you how intricate and insane this cute girl who's doing cute things with tanks eventually becomes. That spawned like 7,000 movies and mangas and everything.
It's a whole catalog, right? It's a whole ass catalog. There's probably even like more iterations of Girl Und Panzer than there are stories within Monogatari.
And all the characters are kind of interesting in terms of their team.
So it's not like you don't immediately. It's not straightforward and easy to say like there is a de facto favorite. Like there's
the main characters,
but there's enough grounds for you to be like, I like that academy. No, I like that academy. No, I stand this academy.
It's almost like you're ready for a full-on waifu war, dude.
Dude, you could just do like an episode just breaking down a tank war in Girl Und Panzer. I mean, people have done that.
Just think about it. You saw that chart that I saw as well, and all of that, no pun intended, is canon, dude.
Really? You had to say that? What the fuck?
I said no pun intended.
No, you know damn well you were gonna say that though. Oh man. Okay. All right.
Girl Und Panzer is probably one of the OGs of anime back in the day when I grew up, and it was one of the things where like, oh, cute girls can actually do something that I thought was unimaginable in terms of it being affiliated with cute girls doing cute things. You should watch it.
There's a lot to watch, so
it's really good.
I'll get into it then. We're gonna sign off with my last recommendation, which Jason and I both know really, really well because we watched this around the same time we were watching Megalo Box. Actually, this is again another kind of quote unquote sports anime, but not the conventional sports anime. We did briefly mention it before, but it's a form of wrestling. We're talking, of course, about the infamous Keijo with however many exclamation marks.
I was about to ask you. I think it's 7.
7. I thought I was going to say 7.
Yes,
7 or
yeah.
8. 7 or 8. Definitely not 6. I don't think 6. But yeah, dude, Keijo's fucking weird.
So we went from Girl Und Panzer, which is already kind of weird, to the weirder Keijo, where boob and butt wrestling on top of swimming pools.
I mean, the English translation, or at least the English title,
Let's hear it.
is Hip Whip Girl.
Yeah, because yeah.
Yeah, so it starts off with the story of a promising gymnast who wanted to move into a more competitive, high-stakes sport in hopes of making it big. Emphasis on the big because, there's a lot of big action going on.
Go
in this
big or
series.
go home, right?
Fucking go big or go into the water.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, Keijo is fucking amazing. Like, in all intents and purposes, Keijo's really weird, and I know it's not gonna be for everyone. Absolutely not for everyone, because it definitely has a lot of questionable moments, risque moments that leave you thinking, this is the reason why people talk shit about anime.
Yeah, this is the reason why you're all perverts. And okay, you're not wrong, but I have never watched a premise as absurd as Keijo and then playing it straight, as in they don't like make it lewd on purpose. They actually go really serious about how you would use your boobs and butts to even generate momentum and hurdle. Like, I know I sound crazy when I say this, but they take the sport so seriously, as in the creators and even the people in the anime.
They're very self-aware. They know that like what they're doing here is very against the grain.
And then when there is a castle that shows up in the middle of your swimming pool or a plane, that's
like moments like you've played fucking, like, not played fucking, but you've played.
yeah.
Do you ever play fuck?
I'm not gonna answer that question, dude.
Okay, but you've played Super Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah, I definitely smashed some
That's
stuff.
Smash some brothers. You don't have brothers, right?
No, I don't have brothers.
That's why you were play fucking, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, back on track. Back on track.
Okay,
So, literally the whole like castle like coming out from the fucking waters, like that is just like, oh, this is it. This is like the hype tournament moment. We're gonna see some real fucking crazy combat sport.
No, Will, because they parody their super moves. Because believe it or not, there are super moves. They parody things like Fate Stay Night. They parody like, well, what else?
Attack on Titan.
And you're like, oh, this is super obvious that this is, parodying that. And also it is done so well that I just stand up and clap, like
it's a very, as I mentioned, very self-aware parody of a sports anime. But but in the essence of them doing it so seriously, that itself becomes a sports anime with a really, really well thought out tournament arc.
It's unfortunate that the manga that is based on kind of had a really tumultuous end, and the mangaka and I think the publisher had a lot of issues with each other, and it kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, in the end,
but that one season though,
it's also because you're handling a very out there kind of property, so therefore it's like you always run the risk of whether or not this thing is going to work. And unfortunately, it didn't last as long as it should, but it still lives long in everybody's memory. And I'll forever hold it close to my heart because I really like Keijo.
All right, and I think that is all of our recommendations, Will, right?
I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, like, we can talk about King Ashura another time. Maybe I'll talk about it when the next season comes out.
Also because,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the end of episode number 37. We have a new housekeeping script, and stay tuned after the housekeeping script because Will and I are going to tease sort of what is coming up in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, we want to give everyone an idea of what to expect so that when we do talk about a topic that tickles your fancy, you know when to tune in.
And we don't leave you in the dark. So you can always reach us through our email, gapalette@gmail.com. That's GAPALETTE @gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. You can contact us also on Twitter using the handle @PaletteGood. That's capital P and capital G, all one word. Or through our GAP Discord server using the link in the show description. We also have a website, and we encourage you to check it out. You can visit our website at www.goodanimepalette.com, all lowercase, all one word. Music credits for this episode. We have new music because it's the new season. Our intro music is Ninth Power by Henyo. Our break music is Salamanca by Sarah, the Instrumentalist, which I think is like a pretty good name. And our outro music is Golden Rules by Luax. You can support the music artists we feature by listening to them on Spotify, Apple Music, or other various music listening platforms. And our royalty-free music was provided through Epidemic Sounds, the service. And if you're interested, you can sign up using our referral link in the show description to get the first 30 days of the service for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, well.
It was good to be back and starting off, the season strong with our... Yeah, I still can't get over the fact that I said play fucking. That was good. I think that we probably are expecting a lot more series to have a lot more tournament arcs, and I'm ready for all of them. Really, I'm simple. I'm a simple man. I grew up on Shonen. I like Shonen. Just give me more tournament arcs.
As long as you do it good, right?
You have to do these tournament arcs well because it's your piece de resistance. It is the pinnacle. It's the cherry on top of your cake.
So the next couple episodes, we're just going to tease since we have it finalized anyways, and we've realized that some of you don't know what we're going to talk about next time or next go-around, so then we thought we would inform you guys since there's very little chance of us changing it anyways.
So in the upcoming episode, which is episode 38, we are going to revisit a long-standing episodic series that we've done, which is going back to the days of Monogatari and JoJo.
The Gotta Watch Them All number 4. So I will be watching the second half of part 3.
And I'll be watching whichever parts that are. I think it's part of the finishing of the Monogatari second season.
Yep.
And then afterwards, in episode 39, the long-awaited summer premiere of 2022.
Spoiler alert, I probably have won the spring seasonal bet.
Fuck you.
And Will and I actually have established our numbers for our seasonal bet for summer. So
we will release that in the next episode. Or you say it now.
Or they're okay, well
thereafter. Yeah, we'll do it after.
Yeah, and also our AD After Dark number 10, we will be introducing a very well-known list, our top 10 anime series to recommend, except this time it's going to be another top 10.
Part 2. Yeah, we're going to have to think. We have to think real long and hard about like what we want to recommend here because it's easy to just say, oh, you know what? You haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen? Watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
But that's boring. So we'll make it fun.
Hey, Attack on Titan is ending. You should watch Attack on Titan.
Hey, you know what's really, really good?
What?
Golden Kamuy is coming out. You should totally watch Golden Kamuy.
Yeah. Like, no kidding. Yeah, actually, yeah.
But then, so we're going to make it a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. At least, like, we'll give you a reason as to why you should take the next top 10 list a little seriously.
And hopefully we have given you a reason to not only continue listening, but to even send us emails, your opinions or everything, or join us on Discord.
Yeah, if you've got another top 10 you want to recommend us, or just something you told us we want to review, then sure, let us know. I would love to watch stuff that I've never heard of before.
Yeah, we can have discourse on Discord, right?
Let's just talk. Let's just all have some fun. So, yeah, without further ado, thank you very much for tuning in. We look forward to hearing you guys in the next episode. We'll catch you up very, very, very soon.
See you next time.